The moment a person finally chooses themselves, everything begins to shift in ways they never imagined. It starts with a quiet realization that self-worth is not something the world hands to you. It's something you claim. You stop waiting for someone to validate your existence, your dreams, or your potential. You begin to understand that your life is not a rehearsal, it's happening right now. Choosing yourself means acknowledging that your happiness, your goals, your mental peace, and your future matter as much as anyone else's. For years, many people put themselves last, sacrificing their needs, ignoring their dreams, and shrinking to make others comfortable. But when the switch flips, when you finally decide that you deserve better, confidence begins to rise from a place within you that you didn't even know existed. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop settling for less. You stop believing that you are unworthy of greatness. Instead, you begin to trust your instincts, honor your emotions, and value your voice. You take ownership of your journey, and that ownership changes everything. When you choose yourself, you start making decisions that align with your growth rather than your fears. You stop chasing people who don't see your value and start attracting opportunities that match your new mindset. You realize that you don't need permission to evolve, to dream big, or to reinvent yourself. That realization becomes the turning point where you step out of the shadows and into your own power. Suddenly, the world doesn't feel like something happening to you. It feels like something you can shape. You begin to understand that self-worth isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It's knowing that you are enough, that you are capable, and that you deserve a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. And once you taste that level of self-respect, there is no going back. You become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you finally believe in the person living inside your own skin. Dumblan, as you choose yourself, something else happens. You learn to say no. For most of your life, you may have said yes to everything and everyone, even when it drained you, even when it broke you, even when it pulled you away from your true path. But when you choose yourself, no becomes a powerful shield. You realize that your energy is limited, your time is precious, and your peace is not a negotiable asset. You stop allowing people to take advantage of your kindness. You stop sacrificing your mental health just to avoid disappointing someone. You stop giving pieces of yourself to people who never give anything back. Every no becomes an act of self-protection. Every boundary becomes a declaration that your life matters. You stop wasting time on toxic relationships, pointless arguments, and environments that suffocate your growth. You begin to surround yourself with people who respect your journey rather than manipulate it. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you self-aware. It shows that you understand the difference between being available and being used. And with every boundary you set, you reclaim another piece of your identity. You gain clarity. You gain strength. You gain focus. And for the first time, you start pouring your energy into the things that build your future instead of the things that break your spirit. Boundaries become your compass, guiding you toward a life that supports your dreams instead of sabotaging them. You begin to realize that saying no to distractions is saying yes to destiny. And then comes the most powerful shift. You stop living for approval. You stop trying to impress people who don't even know your struggles. You stop tying your worth to likes, opinions, or applause. When you choose yourself, you stop waiting for someone to give you permission to live boldly. Approval becomes irrelevant, and purpose becomes everything. You begin taking risks that once terrified you. You walk away from situations that no longer serve you. You explore new paths, new goals, new identities. You start building a life that reflects who you are, not who others expect you to be. Without the weight of judgment on your shoulders, you breathe differently. You think differently. You act differently. You stop hiding your potential. You embrace growth, even when it's uncomfortable. You understand that greatness has never come from staying inside someone else's expectations. And as you move forward, something incredible happens. Confidence replaces doubt, courage replaces fear, and momentum replaces hesitation. You become the author of your own story, the architect of your own destiny. You no longer wait for applause because your progress becomes your validation. Your transformation becomes your proof. When you finally choose yourself above all else, you don't just change your life, you claim it.